Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be playing Heroes. And Heroes are just, to be honest, one of my favorite decks. They always have been, they always will be. When I was a kid and I played GX Duel Academy, I built a hero deck. I had nothing but, I would use Flame Wingman with Skyscraper and crash into Ancient Gear Golem and deal 3,000 burn damage. That was the life. So I'm so happy that Heroes are the best deck in the meta right now. I want to show you guys the version of the deck that I think is probably one of the best. I've seen a lot of people playing Needle Sealing, and it's debatable about whether you should play Needle Sealing or Book of Eclipse, especially since Needle Sealing doesn't get stopped by Blizzard. But, you can kind of customize your staples based on your preferences. The real point of the deck is the core. So let's go over this. The skill is called Dragonic Contact, and what it does is you can use the skill's second effect once per turn if your deck contains Rainbow Dragon. You cannot special summon monsters except Neos, Yubel, Elemental Hero, and Neospatian monsters. Send one warrior monster or one level 10 monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Then play one of the following monsters from your deck or graveyard in face-down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. Then add one super polymerization from your deck and one polymerization from outside your deck to your hand. And you can choose either a Neos monster, Elemental Hero Neos, Rainbow Dragon, Rainbow Dark Dragon, Armed Dragon level 10, or the other Armed Dragon level 10, the Thunder one. Pretty good. So this is... The fact that it's only once per turn instead of once per duel is very powerful, especially because it gives you a polymerization for free. You can use that card as discard fodder. You can potentially extend it to some new fusions. So yeah, let's take a look at the deck list. For the main deck, we are playing Armed Dragon Thunder level 10. This is a level 10 dragon monster with 3,000 attack and 2,000 defense. It has control of this card cannot be switched. It can't be destroyed by battle, and once per opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy one card on the field. Okay, so control of the card cannot switch is very useful. It means that your opponent can't just crack down this, and then not be destroyed by battle is also really, really good, especially considering that people are going to start playing Invoked more and more now that we have the selection box. And one of the best ways to deal with heroes is to summon Purgatrio and try and run over them. So if you can stop your monster from being destroyed in battle by simply using Armed Dragon Thunder level 10, then you're going to be in great shape. Then, of course, you also have the ability to discard a card and destroy a monster during your opponent's turn. Now, this card, if you leave it face down and your opponent attacks into it, because it raises its attack points by 1,000 when it destroys a card, you can actually activate this effect during the damage step, which means that if your opponent attacks into your Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 and you have a card left in your hand, you can immediately discard it to destroy the monster that's attacking it and save your monster. It's really solid, and then, of course, you're in the middle of the battle phase, your opponent doesn't have any other actions, so you can crush them. Just good overall. Rainbow Dragon, this is required for the skill, 4,000 attack, 0 defense, and it's light. Pretty good. Armed Dragon level 10. You can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Sweet. Okay, first of all, so this is, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard. So this is not a discard effect. Therefore, if you cannot send a card from your hand to the graveyard, you cannot use this card's effect. Which means that if you want to counter this effect with again outside of heroes, you can play Dimensional Fissure. And Dimensional Fissure will stop this effect from resolving. Yeah, just a good solid card. You can use this effect multiple times in one turn. You can set it multiple times from the graveyard with the skill, which is good. Elemental Hero Stratos. This card is in the structure deck, so you can get as many copies as you want. When this card is normal or special summon, you can activate one of these effects. You can destroy spells or traps on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control except this card, or you can add one hero monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, so this is a effect that misses timing, which is kind of annoying, but it's not once per turn. You can either draw any hero card you want, which can include your Wing Karibo level 6, or you can pop a card on the field. And if you use your skill to set your Elemental Hero Neos beforehand, and even use your Polymerization to fuse a monster beforehand, and then summon your Stratos, you can potentially destroy 2 cards with your first summon. Now, you do have multiple monsters in the field, which means your opponent could just try and use their cards to get some good value, but as long as you have enough follow-up, then that might not matter, especially if you have Neos Fusion. Since Neos Fusion gives you an OTK, Stratos can be very, very good at just making sure that you can pave the way for your OTK. So yeah, good card. Crosskeeper. We are playing this at 1. Dark Warrior monster. You can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Special summon 1 Elemental Hero monster or 1 Neospatial monster from your hand or graveyard, but negate its effects if it was summoned from the graveyard. If you summon an Elemental Hero Fusion monster while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can banish this card and draw 2 cards, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. You can only use each effect for Crosskeeper once per turn. Okay, it's important to note this is only for Elemental Heroes, so if you summon Rainbow Neos or Arm Neos, those are not Elemental Heroes and it will not trigger. But the rest of your extra deck is Elemental Heroes, so it's pretty good. So you can pitch this card with the skill because it requires you to discard a Warrior monster. Having this card in the graveyard is just good. We are playing 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Just discard it to negate a monster effect. Since we draw so much during the opponent's turn, this can be a really good hand trap. Winged Karibo level 6. This card is always treated as both an Elemental Hero card and a favorite card. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand or your graveyard by banishing 1 Elemental Hero Fusion monster or 1 Winged Karibo from your hand, face up, field, or graveyard. You can only special summon Winged Karibo level 6 once per turn this way. When an opponent's monster declares an attack or your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, as a quick effect you contribute this card, destroy that monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack points. Solid. Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. So the primary reason we use this card is because you can discard it. You can discard it for Super Paul, you can discard it for Armed Dragon Thunder level 10, and you can still use its effect. So it's a good card in the graveyard. That's why. Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. When you summon this card, you can target a level 4 or lower hero monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So you can use this to potentially bring back your Stratos and pop a card. If this card is used as fusion material for a hero monster and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Good card. Good effect. Elemental Hero Neos. A new Elemental Hero has arrived from Neospace. When he initiates a contact fusion with a Neospatian, his unknown powers are unleashed. Sweet. Emergency Call. You should play this at 3 if you have it. Add 1 Elemental Hero monster from your deck to your hand. You can use this multiple times in a turn. You can use this to draw Neos, or your Winged Karibo, or your Stratos, or your Liquid Soldier. And if you use it to draw Stratos, you can normal summon Stratos and use its effect again. So if you have 3 Emergency Calls and 3 Stratoses, you can search up to 6 times in a turn, which is great. Super Polymerization. Discard 1 card, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either side of the field as materials. Cards and effects cannot be activated into response to this card's activation. Sweet. Excellent card. You can use this to turn your opponent's monsters into whatever you want. Great. Blizzard. Target 1 face-up spell your opponent controls. This turn, negate the activated effects of that spell and all spells on the field with the same original name. If the targeted card would be sent to the opponent's graveyard this turn, it is added to their hand instead. So Blizzard is excellent for dealing with Book of Eclipse and Book of Moon, which is what you want. You can also use it in the Mirror to deal with Neos Fusion. So yeah, good card. Especially since the Mirror is so common. Miracle Fusion. You can also stop Miracle Fusion with Blizzard. Fusion summon 1 Elemental Hero Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your field or your side of the graveyard. Great. Just draw it with Sunrise and make another one. Over Fusion. You should probably play this at 3. I haven't decided whether I'm going to get a 3rd copy of the structure deck yet or not. Target 1 face-up monster on the field. Reveal 1 Elemental Hero, Neospatian, or level 10 monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck. The targeted monster's name can be treated as the revealed monster's name if used as fusion material this turn. It's important to note that that is for both players. So if you use this card on your opponent's monster, and your opponent can fusion summon using that name, it might be bad for you, but it doesn't matter. Send the revealed monster to the graveyard if you have Elemental Hero Neos on your field or in your graveyard, otherwise shuffle it back into the deck. If revealed from the hand, shuffle it back into the deck. Shuffle it into the main deck. You can only activate 1 Overfusion per turn. Okay, so how you play this card. You activate it, you reveal your Armed Dragon level 10 from your deck, send it to the graveyard, then your opponent's monster becomes Armed Dragon level 10, you activate Super Polymerization, fuse your Neos with your opponent's monster, make Armed Neos, Arm Neos, target the Armed Dragon you sent to the graveyard, destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field that are level 10 or lower, and you win the game. Good card. Book of Eclipse. Change all face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position, and during the end phase, flip as many monsters face-down as your opponent controls face-up, then your opponent draws cards, equal to the number of monsters flipped face-up this way. Not once per turn. Good card. Neos Fusion. Special summon one fusion monster from your extra deck that lists exactly 2 monsters as material, by including Elemental Hero Neos, by sending those monsters from your hand, deck, or field, including its summoning conditions, and for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters. If a fusion summon monster you control that lists Elemental Hero Neos as material would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So, this card has become less good because we cut Kluger. You definitely don't play this card on turn 1. It's amazing on turn 2 and on turn 3 because you can make Rainbow Neos and win the game immediately. But if you have it in your opening hand, you will probably just sit on it. Now, let's talk about the mirror. So there's a lot of heroes on ladder right now, and the biggest mistake you can make if you are going second as a hero player is to activate your Neos Fusion before your opponent has played Super Polymerization. Because if you play Neos Fusion and you're holding your Super Polymerization, you win the mirror. The mirror is decided by the person who plays Super Polymerization first. The person who is forced to Super Poly first will almost always lose. So, if you play your Neos Fusion before your opponent has Super Polyed, you cannot use your Super Poly to punish their Super Poly because you can't special summon anymore. So don't do that. You want to try and force your opponent to use Super Poly, and then you can Neos Fusion into your Rainbow Neos. Excellent. Okay, for the extra deck, we have Rainbow Neos. This is a fusion of Elemental Hero Neos plus either Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon. Must be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials and cannot be special summoned by other ways. That's a lie. Once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. Send one monster you control to the graveyard. Shuffle all monsters your opponent controls into the deck. Send one spell or trap you control to the graveyard. Shuffle all spells and traps your opponent controls into the deck. Or send one card from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Shuffle all cards in your opponent's graveyard into the deck. All these effects are really good. Obviously, clearing your opponent's board and hitting them for 4,500 will win you the game. Shuffling all their spells and traps will just completely leave them defenseless, and a lot of decks suffer if you just get rid of their graveyard. So, not a single one of these effects is bad. Win the game. Armed Neos. Elemental Hero Neos plus an armed dragon monster. Must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you can choose one dragon monster in your graveyard. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with an equal or lower level than it. So, it says it must be fusion summoned, but it triggers off of a special summon because they know you're going to summon it with Neos Fusion. When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can make this card gain the following effect. During the main phase, as a quick effect, you can distribute this card to special summon one Elemental Hero Fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. That does not include Rainbow Neos, because Rainbow Neos is not an Elemental Hero monster. But you can use it to make, I guess, like, Great Tornado and have attack points. Good card. Elemental Hero The Shining. Fusion of Elemental Hero and a light monster. Good. Super Poly target. Elemental Hero Great Tornado. Fusion of Elemental Heroes and a wind monster. You can use this to have all your monsters' attack points permanently when you're summoned. Nova Master. You use this mostly to punish Su-ships and now invoked. Elemental Hero plus a fire monster. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, draw a card. Sunrise. 2 heroes with different attributes. Must be fusion summoned. Monsters you control gain 200 attack points for each different attribute you control. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can add one Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. And when an attack is declared involving another hero monster you control, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. Both these effects are pretty good. Elemental Hero Gaia. Hero plus Earth. When it's summoned, Ruroku. And Escuridao. Hero plus Dark. Gains 100 attack for each hero in the graveyard. Absolutely terrible card, but the Super Poly of a hero plus a dark is too good to leave up. Alright, that's everything. Let's take a look at the replay. Alright, we are going first against heroes. Our opening hand is Liquid Soldier, Crosskeeper, Effect Veiler, and Miracle Fusion. We pitch the Crosskeeper with the skill to set the Neos, draw Poly and Super Poly. Activate Poly, fuse Effect Veiler and Liquid Soldier into the Shining so we can draw 2 cards. And 2 more cards. So, Crosskeeper and Liquid Soldier, we draw 2, we put 1 on the bottom. And we draw 2 and pitch 1. We drew into Stratos, Overfusion, and Book of Eclipse. Amazing. Exactly what we wanted. We also pitched the Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 that we drew into. Normal Summon Stratos, use its effect to draw the Winged Karibo level 6. set the other cards, and pass the turn. Admittedly, we could have attributed the Elemental Hero the Shining to play the Winkuriboh level 6 so that we could potentially have a destruction effect, but if we did that, we would not be able to Super Polymerization because we had no cards in our hand. The opponent summons Decider, and then pitches Malicious to set a card. I don't know what he's thinking. It's a cute idea, certainly, to play Destiny Heroes in this list, but you are not able to special summon monsters other than Neos, Yubel, Elemental Hero, and Neospatian. So your Destiny Hero Malicious' effect to special summon another one will not work. Set the Armed Dragon level 10. Add the Poly. Draw Super Poly. Flip the Armed Dragon level 10, activate Poly, and fuse Destiny Hero Decider with Elemental Hero Neos to make Sunrise. Sunrise effect, add Miracle Fusion. Armed Dragon level 10, pitch one card from hand to destroy both cards on the field. I could Fusion Summon here, but I don't need to, so we're going to pass. He's going to activate Miracle Fusion, banish the Malicious and the Neos from the grain to special summon Iskiridao. Then he enters the battle phase and attacks. Sunrise's effect activates, and he will destroy the Book of Eclipse that's face down. That's fine. Now I'm going to activate Overfusion. I'm going to target his Elemental Hero Sunrise and reveal Elemental Hero Neos. So now I'm going to make Elemental Hero Sunrise's name Elemental Hero Neos. Then I activate Super Polymerization. I pitch my Winkuriboh level 6 and fuse his Elemental Hero Sunrise and his Armed Dragon level 10 to summon Arm Neos. I activate Arm Neos' effect, my opponent is going to respond to that by activating Super Polymerization. This is why Arm Neos is so important, because its effect triggers before the opponent has a chance to Super Poly. So even though Super Poly can't be responded to, because Arm Neos triggers immediately, they can't get around it. Now he has no choice. He needs to get rid of my monster, but now he fuses into his monster, and it gets destroyed. So now he has nothing. It's my turn. Pitch the Rainbow Dragon. Set it face down. He loses. There you go. That's the power of Overfusion. That's the power of a free Super Polymerization every turn. My name is Seraphi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.